makers, welcome back. Today we're doing a fun fall sky painting with a tree, a little owl. Now we also have some mixing plates to mix up all of our colors. Our mixing plate today is consisting of white, black, yellow, red, and brown. I have a water can to wash off all of my brushes, some paper towels, and today I'm working with 3 different types of paint brushes. The first brush is a nice big flat square brush. The second brush is another flat brush, but it's more round at the end. And the third brush is a nice small pointy brush for all of our fine details. Now the first thing we do in our painting is the background. So we are going to be mixing up some colors here with our big square flat brush. First color, we are going to start off with a nice scoop of white, a scoop of yellow, and mix those together. Second color is going to be a small scoop of white, big scoop of yellow, tiny touch of red. We're going to make ourselves a lovely orange here. Might even add a little bit more yellow to mine. And for the third color, we're going to grab a scoop of yellow and about a half a scoop of red. Mix those up for a deeper, darker orange. Alright, we actually have one more color to mix up. It's going to be a scoop of brown, a tiny touch of black. I'm going to mix that up with whatever I have left on my brush. Maybe add a little bit of red. Touch of white if it feels too dark. Now we're going to start with this brown paint since it's on our brush. So in our background, we're going to start down at the bottom. I'm giving myself like an eighth of the painting, really. It's a very small section down at the bottom, just a couple of inches. Doesn't need to be perfectly straight, just throwing it down at that bottom edge. Then I'm going to get a clean brush, and we are going to be getting into that darker orange color. Now we're going to start off by throwing this paint right above our brown. We're going to bring the color almost up to the halfway point as well. So throwing this right above the brown and then slowly working it down into the brown, back up into the orange to blend the 2 colors together. You can see how I'm working from side to side, not stopping in the middle of my canvas, just going from one edge to the other. And I'm going to work that paint up to about halfway up my canvas, or a little bit shy of halfway. Next, I'm going to be getting into my lighter orange. We're going to be doing the same exact thing that we did with our darker orange, where we throw some right above, work down to blend, bring the color back up, and make just a seamless blend between the 2. And we're going to take this light orange and bring it up pretty far in our sky. Leave yourself just a couple of inches left at the top for that yellow. From there, I'm going to get a clean brush before I go into my yellow paint. And this yellow is just going to fill the rest of our sky up, and make sure you blend it down into that light orange. Now we do need to let our background dry. I'm going to give us about 10 to 15 minutes for it to dry, and then we'll come back together. Once our painting is dry, we are going to be focusing on the trees. So I'm going to be taking my small pointy brush and we're going to be mixing up a dark brown with 1 scoop of brown, small touch of black. So I want you to eyeball about center in your canvas in that lighter orange. Go to the left a little bit, and that's where your first tree is going to be. Keep very light pressure at the top of your tree trunk, and as you bring the line down to the bottom, you can press into your canvas a little harder so that a line becomes thicker as you work your way down. My next tree is going to be a couple of inches to the right, and it's going to be a lot taller. And my third tree is going to be somewhere in the middle of those two height-wise and over to the right even further. Now, when it comes to the actual branches or leaves, we're going to do this little dotting texture. At the top of your tree, you're going to dot maybe just once or twice right on the line to keep it really thin at the top. As you work your way down, you can see I'm just dabbing in this sort of zigzag fashion, leaving these kind of arms that jet away from your trunk. As you work your way down, these become longer and longer, so you get that lovely evergreen tree shape. Next, we're going to paint our main tree that our owl is sitting on. So with a clean pointy brush, I'm going to get into black paint. Along the left edge, I'm going to draw the trunk of my tree. It's going to start pretty thin at the top, get thicker at the bottom, just like our other trees that we painted beforehand. And next we're going to be adding some branches. So I have a branch that's up high in my sky, so it's going to start at the top of my canvas and then merge onto the trunk of my tree. Just make sure that it's a seamless line that blends into the trunk as opposed to a 90-degree angle. You can even add a branch to that branch. You can add as many as you like. I'm going to add a couple more here, but the main branch that you want to make sure that you paint is the one that goes across the center of our canvas that our owl sits upon. Once we're done with our tree, we're going to get a clean brush and we're going to add some texture to the tree simply by taking some white paint and adding stripes of it on top of the tree while that black paint is still wet. That way we get a couple of gray colors in there. Leave the texture in. You don't want to blend it too much. You want to see all the brush strokes. Next, we're going to work on the sun. I'm going to be taking the other flat brush that's more round at the edge, and we're going to be getting into some white paint. Now, the trick to getting a perfect circle is to pinpoint where the center you want it to be. Then, keeping your brush in place, you're going to spin it like it's on an axis point. And there you go, you have yourself a perfect circle. If this seems too difficult, you can always take a small pointy brush and draw the circle out. And then we're going to take our finger and blur out the edges just so that it gives that kind of shine or glow to the sun. Then feel free to go back in the center with more white paint to crisp up the middle. Next, we're going to paint the owl. Going back to our small pointy brush, getting into black paint. My owl is going to sit just to the left of my most left tree in the background. I'm going to be starting with the body. So for the body, I'm going to draw sort of an egg shape, and it's going to cross over top of the branch. Want to fill it in. Then for the tail feathers, it's almost like a triangle shape. So it's going to get wide down at the bottom of the tail, and then it's going to get a little thinner where it attaches to the body. Next for the head, just going to start with a simple circle right on top. I'm going to add 2 little triangle ears to the sides of the head. And there you have yourself an owl. We got a few more details left. I want to get a clean pointy brush and add just a few white stripes to the top ends of some of our tree branches just to give them a little highlight, make them pop a little more. And our last step is to add a couple of stars. Since our sun is setting, some of them are showing in our sky. So let's add those simply by taking our handle of our brush, dipping it in white paint, and poking wherever you want your stars to be. Now that is the last and final step to creating this lovely, lovely painting, and we'd love to see what you're painting at home. Feel free to post on social media and tag us at muse_paintbar so we can check them out. And of course, if you want to see more from our channel, make sure you like and subscribe. And with that, don't forget to always paint outside the lines.